last week I published a video where I showed the 8 things that I love the most about my F-150, and in particular the 2017 Platinum that's behind me, which I've owned for 18 months. In that video I talked about the different trucks that I've owned, the fact that I've had a 2015 F-150 before this with the 5-liter engine. Now I have the Ecoboost. But all that being said, what I want to do today is talk about the 8 things that I actually don't like about the F-150. So while last week's video was all cheery about the things I love, in this video I'm going to talk about the things that annoy me and kind of tick me off about it, as someone who paid my own money to buy this truck and has owned it for 18 months. Now, I need to say a few things before I start with this. You know, so many of these videos out there are titled, "Oh, things I hate about XYZ," and that's a clickbait title, and I get it. I mean, it's hard to get views on YouTube and people need to have catchy titles. I'm not using the word hate because that's spoiled. These are incredible vehicles with incredible luxury and capabilities. So to say that I hate things about it is not accurate. So it's just things that I don't like about it that I wish Ford would improve. And in some cases, I think they have improved for 2021. So I'm not a spoiled brat. I'm not entitled. I know what I was buying when I went into this, but I'm just giving you, as somebody who's maybe shopping for a truck, maybe an F-150, some things you might want to think about when you're looking at either buying a used or new one. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the list. Welcome to Big Rock Media. My name is Ian. So I'm going to start taking you through this list of things that I don't love about the F-150. So the first thing is going to be the interior wear and tear and some quality issues that I think this truck has. Now, it is possible that this is unique just to me, or it could be a more widespread issue, but you guys can talk about this in the comments and we can help figure it out together. But there's some things I've been noticing about my truck that I really haven't been happy with how they've been wearing, considering this truck's only 3 years old and only has just over 50,000 miles on it. The seats have not been wearing well. Now, in one of my earlier videos on the F-150, which got a lot of views, I was complaining about the wear and tear on the leather, and people were saying, well, you need to take care of your leather. Well, 2 things with that. Number one, I do. Actually, I'm very OCD about cleaning and conditioning leather seats on all my vehicles. Number 2, I bought this truck used with 40,000 miles on it. So a lot of what's happened was under the previous owner. But there's actually a third point about this, which is that I looked in the manual of my truck actually about taking care of the leather, and it says for the, I think for the Platinum and Limited and King Ranch models, I believe, it says actually don't use leather conditioner because of something to do with the type of leather they're using, and that you really should just use like a very, very mild soap and water solution to clean your seats and not put any sort of leather products on them. I found that really interesting. So anyway, I don't know what to make of it. I'll show you in the B-roll here some of the issues that my seats have been having. I've got paint flaking off of them, chipping off, so you see white areas coming through from the brown leather, so maybe that's a stain of the leather. You see areas that are just like wearing off, like where the whole coating of the leather is kind of just flaking off, which doesn't seem right. The cushioning seems to be wearing out prematurely, so not very happy with this. I've had high mileage vehicles, high mileage trucks before, and haven't really noticed this. So anyway, some other things on the interior that I'll show here. I've got one of the rear vents is actually broken, the rear seat vents for the rear passengers, and that doesn't seem right. Again, I didn't break it. It's possible the previous owner did it. Maybe he had a freaking pit bull in the back for all I know. I don't know what he did. The center console cover, again, that's kind of it's not leather, it's some sort of fake leather, I'm sure, but that finish is wearing off and it doesn't look very good. I'm also sitting on one of the issues now, which is where the door trim is here by the Platinum badging. So I don't know, just also the steering wheels is actually the leather coating is wearing off as well. So I really don't know what's happening with the leather on this truck. It doesn't seem right. I mean, it's, as far as I've owned it for the past almost 2 years, it's been parked in a garage. I don't know where it was parked before that. I don't know what the previous owner did. Maybe he rubbed, you know, I don't know, food all over it. I have no idea. But all I can tell you is since I've owned it, it doesn't seem right to me. Number 2 on my list of complaints, and this is kind of a combination of a few things. So in 2017, I don't know if this affected some of the other engines, but the 3.5 Ecoboost in 2017 for the Gen 2 engine, they gave it a plastic oil pan and a plastic drain plug. Now, I don't know what brilliant engineer thought to put plastic on an oil pan, but it's a very bad idea for multiple reasons. It's easy to break, tends to leak more often. There's a lot of owners that have had these leak. Also, to remove the oil drain plug, it's actually like a twist off, like a quarter turn or half turn kind of mechanism. It's kind of difficult to deal with, and when you change your oil yourself, like I do, it tends to just kind of explode out and make a huge mess. So you really have to, the first couple oil changes are really kind of a nightmare with this truck when getting used to that. I'm not really sure why Ford has done that. If you do know, let me know down in the comments. The other thing is the coolant bottles are kind of prone to leakage on these trucks, and I think this has affected a lot of F-150s from different generations, not just mine, but they've got like a plastic coolant bottle with some plastic fittings, and mine's already leaking coolant. I mean, again, I really shouldn't have a coolant leak on a truck that is only 3 years old with 50,000 miles. Just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree, but it doesn't seem right to me that I'm dealing with something like that. So it's one of the plastic bottles or one of the plastic fittings that's leaking, and I haven't gotten around to fixing it yet. There's probably a new truck in my future, but you'll have to stay tuned for that. You know, being a YouTuber, you have to get new vehicles for tax reasons. And anyway, I won't get into that now, but number 4 of things I don't like is the engine temperatures that I'm seeing when I'm towing. So for reference, our trailer is around 4,400 pounds dry, and probably when we're loaded up for a camping trip, it's probably around 5,000 pounds. And that's under half the towing capacity of this truck. I mean, all my payload and tongue weights and everything are well under the capacity of this truck. What I notice when I tow up like a 5 to 7% grade, and I keep my speeds moderate, 55, 60 miles an hour, even on cooler days, but especially in the summer, I'll notice my engine coolant temperatures climbing up and up until they get to around 240. That doesn't seem right to me. I know that Ford had to certify these using J2807, which some of you have heard about. They go and basically the trucks have to be able to climb a certain grade without having malfunctions. They test them out in Arizona at the border out there. Anyway, I know they had to certify the truck for that to tow 11,000 or whatever this thing is rated for. So I'm really confused as to why mine is on the brink of overheating, only towing 5,000 pounds. This truck does not have a tune. It does not have modifications. It is 100% bone stock, and it's been maintained extremely well with oil changes every 3,000 to 4,000 miles. Again, I don't know what's causing the overheating, but it's alarming, and I did talk to the Ford dealer about it, and they didn't really give me any clear answers about it. They said, well, if it's not overheating and throwing a light or throwing a coat or boiling over, then we don't really consider that to be a malfunction. But I don't know, maybe I'll try taking it in somewhere else. But there's other people who've experienced this, I know, because I've seen the YouTube videos and I've read the forum postings. So if you guys have figured out why this is, let me know. There was a comment on one of my last videos that said, well, you should just upgrade your intercooler. But this is almost a $70,000 truck, sticker price. Why should I have to upgrade the intercooler? I thought I'm paying for a well-engineered vehicle. So anyway, could be a one-off thing, could be isolated. I don't know, but let me know if you guys have experienced this, but it's kind of a bummer and it's kind of alarming. Okay, so my 4th thing has to do with the aluminum body construction of the truck. Now this is going to be really controversial, and I understand that's okay. Let's just have a conversation about it. Now I know what Ford was going for with the aluminum. It's lighter, it should be more resistant to dents. There's other benefits, of course, lack of rust, things of that nature. But I'm listing it here as a downside, and here's why. After I've owned 2 of these, what I'm finding is that it's extremely difficult to get dents and dings repaired. The aluminum body panels do not lend themselves to bending back into position for dent repair as steel ones do. So I actually have some dents on my truck, somewhat minor things, but they bug me because it's such an expensive truck. And I took them into like a professional body shop and said, look, can you pull these dents out? Can you do some kind of repair? And they said, actually, no, we can't repair it. I'm sorry. And that was it. I was shocked. What they said was the aluminum, they're not able to repair certain dents in aluminum, especially on certain parts of the truck where there's folds or there's going around corners. I don't know, what is your guys' experience with the aluminum? I like the fact that they're trying to make the vehicle lighter. That has benefits to fuel economy, to towing, to payload. But I just wonder if the aluminum body panels are going to be a good thing for us as consumers in the long run, or if they're going to cause us more headaches. I'm not really sure about that yet. I think the verdict is still out, but my experience is getting dings repaired is a lot more difficult, and I don't know, it's kind of bugs me. So anyway, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, the next thing has to do with the software in the sync system. Ford Sync, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think this is Sync 3 on this one. It's kind of slow. It's not the greatest interface. But in particular, what I want to talk about is the camera settings, how the camera is working. So on a lot of trucks that I've test driven, and this is important because I tow trailers pretty often, you can turn on the rear view camera at low speeds or even at highway speeds for at least a few seconds to see if your hitch is all looking good and your connections are good and there's nothing wrong. The Ford doesn't allow you to do that at all. You can't access any of your cameras while the truck is moving like over a couple miles an hour. I think you can access the front camera when the truck's moving really slow, like parking, but it doesn't give you much accessibility. Now, I get it, there's probably a million legal reasons why they think they can't allow it, but I know other manufacturers, FCA with the Ram products, and I think even GM is allowing a lot more camera configurations and allowing you to see the cameras as you're moving, and that's a huge valuable thing. I actually have a wireless camera on the back of my travel trailer, and I have the monitor up here. It's not installed now. But I have that thing on all the time. You know, they market it as a backup camera, but I never turn it off when I'm towing because I always want to see behind the trailer. So I don't know, you know, I know there's so many distractions that we have with our cell phones and with our infotainment systems nowadays, but I'd just be able to like to have more control over the cameras. And also the other complaint about the cameras in the Ford is that they're really low resolution and very grainy. I was testing some Jeep products the other day, and I was shocked by just how crystal clear and high definition those backup cameras and the front cameras were, and it makes this one look like crap. So I don't know, maybe they fixed that for the 2021, made it higher res, but Ford, maybe work on your cameras a little bit. So the next thing for me, and this really pertains to the Platinum and this specific truck, is Ford's use of these rear appliques, decals, badges, whatever you want to call them. Now, I know I'm an idiot for buying a Platinum with this on it, and that was a choice I made, but I'm not a fan of the styling of this. I don't think this huge silver piece is doing the truck's looks any good. I kind of prefer more of an off-road, more of a tougher look to my truck. So I don't like chrome. I don't like a lot of silver trim everywhere. And the fact that this is so huge and it's quite an ordeal if you want to have it painted or wrapped or whatever. I thought about plasti dipping it, but that's just so cheesy. I don't want to plasti dip it and have it peeling off, looking like crap on a $60,000 truck. So I'm not really a fan of it. I know it's a Ford thing. They've been doing it for a long time. The Raptors actually look good because this is all blacked out when it says Raptor on the back. So I like that, but the silver, it just doesn't do it for me. Now, that's a totally subjective styling thing, and you guys may totally disagree and just roast me in the comments for this. But I'm just not a fan of it. I wish my truck didn't have it. I've even gone so far as trying to figure out if I could like maybe get a different tailgate that didn't have it. But you know, you've got your camera and you've got the step in it, so it's kind of an expensive, complicated item to replace. So anyway, the Platinum look is not for me, and with my next truck, I'm definitely going to be more picky about the trim level I get and the appearance packages that I get. So that's really about it. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not doing this to complain or to sound entitled or spoiled or to get a clickbait title. These are things that legitimately I'm really not happy with the truck. And when you pay that much money, it comes with the territory. A high price has high expectations. You know, there's a saying, the higher you are, the farther there is to fall, and that's definitely true. When you spend this much money for a modern vehicle, you know, you just tend to get bothered by some of these things. So let me know what you guys think for you F-150 owners or prospective owners. What are the things you found with your trucks that you're not happy with, that you don't like? Let me know down in the comments and let's have a good discussion about it. I always enjoy reading the comments. So I hope you guys are enjoying this F-150 content. I'm trying to be as honest and objective as I can with it to help out people who are shopping potentially to buy one of these trucks. They're a big investment, and I want to really give you my feedback to help you make your decision. So again, I hope it was useful. Please hit the thumbs up. It really does help me out. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next video.